present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin and your chairman is Jack D.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. You join us this week in Doncaster, described as the Queen Elizabeth of Yorkshire towns, reigning since 1952. In the 2016 EU referendum, the people of Doncaster voted 63% in favour of leaving, tasking their MPs to enter negotiations to achieve WTO. So far, they've only managed WTF. The food writer and chef Phyllis Chapman opened her first restaurant in Doncaster. And Miss Chapman is currently serving a jail term for the attempted manslaughter of her abusive husband, who she attacked while preparing dinner, cracking his skull with a Sainsbury's ripen-at-home avocado, which she'd bought just 3 months earlier. Probably Doncaster's most famous son today is the TV presenter Jeremy Clarkson, who was born at Tick Hill. In 2015, Clarkson was sacked from Top Gear after he assaulted the producer. But this wasn't his first such incident. At the British Press Awards in 2004, Clarkson punched Piers Morgan in the mouth before receiving the prize for outstanding services to broadcasting. Let's meet the teams. They are, on my right, Tim Brooke-Taylor and Tony Hawks. And on my left, Pippa Evans and Richard Osman. And taking his place at the desk next to me to enjoy an evening of scoring, please welcome the ever-rippling Sven. Okay, our first round takes a look at the songs of some of our best-known musicians and bands. It's often occurred to me how the simple addition of an extra word into their title could ruin a band's fortunes. Witness SpongeBob Dylan. Yellow Snow Patrol. Or Cold Foreplay. And songs are equally vulnerable. So, teams, I'd like you to provide some examples of how, with the addition of an extra word, a song title can become a lot less appealing. Tony, can you start?
When I'm 64 stone.
Tim.
Breaking wind beneath my wings.
Pippa.
Sweet child of Minecraft.
Richard.
All you need is love. Handles.
I will theoretically always love you.
Message in a sample bottle.
You're so varicose vain.
Papa's got a brand new colostomy bag.
You can call me Al-Qaeda.
Santa Claus is not coming to town.
I've got you under my foreskin.
Take on me, Zulls.
Well, it's time now for a musical round as I ask the teams to sing one song to the tune of another. It goes without saying that Doncaster's biggest musical export is One Direction's boy band sensation, Louis Tomlinson. And to this day, proud Doncaster music fans keep quiet about it. At the piano, we have Colin. Colin first trained as a sound technician and in 1976 was famously responsible for engineering the Clash at the Marquee. He sat the bride's father next to his ex-wife. Okay. We'll start with you, Richard. I'd like you to sing the words of Hurt by Johnny Cash to the tune of If I Only Had a Brain.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel, I focus on the pain. The only thing that's real, the needle tears a hole, that old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend, everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. I wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts. Oh, I cannot repair, beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear.
Richard. Tony, now I'd like you to sing the words of Run Rabbit Run to the tune of The Girl from Ipanema.
On the farm every Friday, on the farm it's rabbit pie day, so every Friday that ever comes along, I get up early and sing this little song. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run. Run, run, bang, 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 go. The farmer's gun. Run, rabbit, run. Rabbit, run, 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 rabbit. Run, rabbit, run, 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 don't give the farmer his fun, 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 fun. He'll get by without his rabbit pie, so run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit. Run, 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 rabbit. Run, rabbit, run. Bang, 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 bang.
Your turn now, Tim. I'd like you to sing the words of Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone by Bill Withers to the tune of The Can-Can.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, it's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone to her. Any time she goes away, wonder this time when she's gone, wonder if she's going to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, 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 I know. Hey, I ought to leave young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house when she ain't gone. And hug!
Well, that was Tim Brooke-Taylor singing there with the audience in Doncaster doing everything in their power to drown it out. Can't thank you enough. And finally, Pippa Evans, I'd like you to sing the words of I Predict a Riot by the Kaiser Chiefs to the tune of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables.
Watching the people get leery, it's not very pretty, I tell thee. Walking through town is quite scary, it's not very sensible either. A friend of a friend, he got beaten. He looked the wrong way at a policeman. Would never have happened to Smeaton. An old Leo dancing. I predict a riot it. I tried to get to my taxi. The man in a tracksuit attacks me.
Well, Pippa, if you're not going to commit, I won't ask you about that. This next game is called Uncoupling and involves the teams alternating the names of unconnected people. So I'd like you to start exchanging completely unconnected celebrities, Tim and Tony, Richard and Pippa. Your job is to try to spot a connection. So off you go, Tim and Tony.
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Posh Spice.
Well, Pippa's come in there with a...
Well, they're both posh, aren't they? Both posh.
Of course they are, yes. Very good.
Thank you.
Rookie error there, so it's over there to Richard and Pippa.
Martina Navratilova.
Wolf from Gladiator.
No buzz, I see. Jeremy Paxman.
Julie Andrews.
Alexander Armstrong.
Tony.
Well, they're both absolutely beautiful singers.
No, sorry, I said Alexander Armstrong.
You won't be working with him anymore.
I mean, fingers crossed.
Did you
Tony.
buy his album? Did you buy his album?
Did I?
Richard?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, he gave one to me.
You can get them, they're in the Sue Ryder shop. But you are correct, they are both singers, so
Yes.
Over to Tony and Tim.
Peppa Pig.
Attila the Hun.
Kim Jong-un.
Stefan Edberg.
Jack D.
Marie Antoinette.
All right, Richard. So
I mean, where does one begin?
between me and Marie Antoinette, what's the...
You were dating that guy called Louis for a long time, weren't you? Same thing.
No one knows about that. I told you in confidence.
Those lovely frilly dresses you wear.
All right, fair enough. Let's carry on. So fair enough. Yes, over to you, Richard and Pippa.
Paul Robinson from Neighbours.
Peter Crouch from football.
Theresa May.
From...
Yesterday.
Just trying to pull it back from anything, really.
Tim Henman.
Fireman Sam.
Oh, Fiona Bruce.
Maya Angelou.
Lulu.
Tony has come in with a connection
Well,
between
both names end in Lou.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou and Lulu. Yes.
Uncannily good, that.
Yeah. Even Colin Sellers agreed, and no one even asked him. Just turned up in his gardening clothes and thinks. So yes, it's back to Pippa and Richard.
Oh,
Ant McPartlin.
Lady Gaga.
Rachel Riley.
Violet Beauregard.
Michael Gove.
Ginger Rogers.
Oh, goodness me, this is really not buzzing.
Well, Tim has buzzed in.
Michael Gove is a bit of a ginger, isn't he? Be honest, isn't he?
well, he Rogers quite a lot, apparently.
Perfectly true.
Usually his fellow politicians. Close to election time, I think he sort of, Boris.
I think we can give you that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Colin? Yes. See, you're so involved in it all. That doesn't work. And the gong tells us that is the end of the game. Well, the next round looks at the world of computer technology. I rely on Google for just about everything, and particularly for finding my way around London. Now, last week I asked Google, what's the quickest way to Turnham Green? Apparently, it's cheap copper genital piercings. Well, the latest thing I've discovered on my laptop is a translation service. You just type in a foreign phrase and the computer will pronounce it for you. It'll even provide the meaning. This gave me an excellent idea for a round. I'll ask Google Translate to read out a foreign phrase, but this time I'd like you to provide the translation. Okay, teams? So here's the first foreign phrase for you, Tim.
Prima donna. Prima donna.
My first kebab.
The computer's answer is...
First lady.
Here's a phrase for you to translate, Tony.
Annus horribilis. Annus horribilis.
Do you mind if I don't sit down?
And the actual answer is...
Horrible year.
Oh. Here's one for you, Pippa.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes.
A Doctor Who repeat.
The actual answer is...
Good afternoon.
One for you, Richard.
Coup de grâce. Coup de grâce.
Mow the lawn.
The actual answer is...
Coup de grace.
Here's one for you, Tim.
Sic transit gloria mundi. Sic transit gloria mundi.
Gloria was sick in the van, but she'll be in on Monday.
And what does it really mean?
So the glory of the world.
Another one, Tony. Here's one for you.
Spaghetti carbonara. Spaghetti carbonara.
My supper's burnt.
What about this one, Pippa?
E.g. E.g.
A two-word conversation between a northerner and an American.
Richard, here's one for you.
Eau de toilette. Eau de toilette.
I'd give it 5 minutes if I were you.
Here are some for any of you to have a go at. Let's hear this one.
Spiritus mundi. Spiritus mundi.
Start the week with a bottle of gin.
What about this one?
Pas du tout. Pas du tout.
Father of twins.
In fact, it is...
Not at all.
This one?
Amuse-bouche. Amuse-bouche.
Funny pubic hair.
And finally...
Coq au vin. Coq au vin.
Dogging.
The next round is called The Symptoms, and it's all about the world of medicine. And this round, the teams will assume the role of doctors and patients suffering from an imaginary medical condition. And this round certainly resonates for me, as my doctor thinks I'm a real hypochondriac. Last week, I went in convinced I had OCD, and he immediately put me in my place, incorrectly. So you'll be the patients, Richard and Pippa, and the identity of your mystery medical condition is now being displayed to the audience via the laser display screen. And for listeners at home, here's the mystery voice.
Pippa and Richard think they're whales. Pippa and Richard think they're whales.
So it's time for your appointment, Pippa and Richard. You must outline your symptoms to doctors Tim and Tony, and they'll be awarded points based on how accurately they're able to diagnose your condition. So off you go.
I feel really washed up.
Right.
And I'm blue. It's a killer.
I feel like I'm going to blow at any moment, just off the top of my head. I did try a Japanese acupuncturist, but the needles were much too big.
Also, I didn't want to say it, but I have got the most enormous sperm.
It's true.
Yeah. And you can probably tell from over there, can't you? And Also, I don't know if you agree, but I feel like I've lost my faith in free will.
Yes. Me too. I used to be much more free will-y.
Oh. You're having a whale of a time, aren't you?
Okay, so what is your diagnosis?
We think that they think they're whales.
Yes. Well done. So, your turn to be the patients, Tim and Tony, and the identity of your mystery medical condition will now be displayed. Well, here again is the mystery voice for listeners at home.
Tim and Tony think they're golf balls. Tim and Tony think they're golf balls.
We did well to make it here because we so often get lost.
Oh. Yeah. There are a number of reasons why we're feeling under par.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got too many dimples.
Me too.
Perhaps we need to get out more. Trouble is, I don't like driving. I prefer being driven.
Yeah. Well, I found a really sweet spot last week. Had to drive a fair way, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Did you have lunch there?
Yeah, chips, lots of chips. and with a sandwich.
Do you know, I was sitting down at tea the other day and somebody whacked me from behind.
Join the club. That's why I'm feeling rough.
Oh, I like a bit of rough. Last week I was involved in a foursome.
I bet you ended up in a hole.
I invariably do.
So, Doctor, I hope you can help.
Yes, otherwise I don't know what we've come here for.
What a load of old balls.
I mean, I wonder, possibly they believe themselves to be golf balls.
I agree.
Right. Okay, well, this next round is called Complete Playground Rhymes. It's often remarked that children say the funniest things, although no one seems to have told wee Jimmy Cranky. Okay, I've brought with me some genuine children's playground rhymes collected from British schools over the past 50 years, all of which are incomplete, and the team's task is to guess what the endings might be. We'll start with you, Pippa. Can you complete this well-known playground rhyme? The farmer wants a wife. The farmer wants a wife. E-I-A-D-O.
And the archers will be back at the same time tomorrow.
Of course, the farmer wants a wife, in fact. One for you to complete, please, Tim. Eeny, meeny, macca, acca, I, donna, lacca, chicka, locka, ollie, popper.
Means Brexit.
On push. One for you, Tony. An old playground rhyme for you to complete. What's the time? 9:30. Hang your knickers on the line. When they're dry, bring them in. Put them in the biscuit tin. Eat your biscuit, eat your cake.
OK, Alexa, I just wanted to know the time.
It's actually eat your biscuit, eat your cake, eat your knickers by mistake. Now we've all been there. And finally, Richard. Ippodipidation, my operation, how many...
Nurses face deportation.
People at the station. Here's some for any of you to have a go at. Red and yellow custard, snot and bogey pie, all mixed up with a dead dog's eye. Stir it till it's thick, then...
Ask, have you ever been to a harvester before?
Just drink it down with a cup of cold sick. Yeah, well, you wanted to know, so... Johnny went over the ocean, Johnny went over the sea.
Johnny was swallowed by a turtle. Please dispose of your condoms carefully.
Here's another one. Whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot.
Trump will deny it's climate change. The sad, deluded twat.
And finally... A peanut sat on a railway track, its heart was all of a flutter.
But this was Northern Rail, so we're still waiting for the punchline.
was, in fact, along came a train, the 9:15 toot toot peanut butter. Well, it's very nearly the end of the show, but there is just time to fit in a quick round of Dog Lovers Film Club. Our own Sven is a pedigree dog enthusiast and owns several prize-winning breeds. Showing at Crufts recently, he was dithering over which to put forward for the competition when a kindly judge, knowing his magnificent Mastiff by reputation, persuaded him to discard his boxers and entered him in the main arena. Teams, I'd like you, please, to suggest the titles of films likely to appeal to dog enthusiasts. So, Pippa, will you please start?
Fiddler on the Woof.
Yeah, Tim?
The Postman Always Tastes Nice.
Richard?
Barkfest at Tiffany's.
Tony?
A Puppy Licks Now.
The Turd Man.
I Know What You Hid Last Summer.
We bought a Shih Tzu.
Rosemary's Rabies.
Bad Max.
Who's Afraid of Virginia's Wolf?
Star Trek 3, The Search for Spot.
The Big Lebowski.
Clyde with a chance I'll lick my balls.
The Wrong Schnauzers.
True shit.
Our first review of the show is here.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, as the 10K of time is falsely recorded as 8 steps by the faulty Fitbit of fate, and the deep pan pepperoni pizza of perversity derails the doomed diet of destiny, I notice it's the end of the show. So, from the teams, Sven, myself, and our audience here in Doncaster, is goodbye. Goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Tony Hawks, Pippa Evans and Richard Osman were being given silly things to do by Jack D, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme consultants were Ian Pattinson and Fraser Steele, and the producer was John Naismith. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin and your chairman is Jack D.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. You join us on a second visit to the town of Doncaster. Yorkshire's answer to what's that place you speed through to get to York? The old part of Doncaster is well known for its alternative lifestyles and spiritual practices. Earlier this year, an absent-minded keeper from the wildlife park took an orangutan to be treated at the acupuncture clinic, but by mistake went next door into the voodoo temple. And when the needles were plunged into the orangutan's flabby orange backside, 3,000 miles away, Donald Trump collapsed, clutching his face. Born in 1693, Yorkshireman John Harrison was a self-taught clockmaker who invented the marine chronometer, a long sought-after device for solving the problem of calculating longitude at sea. When Harrison died, he left over 1,000 clocks, watches and chronometers. It took nearly a year to wind up his estate. Doncaster's International Airport is built on the site of the former wartime base, RAF Finningley, where the Royal Air Force assigned a squadron of Lancaster bombers, until it was pointed out that they were supposed to be bombing Germany. After his capture, Wilhelm von Lindeiner, the World War II commandant of the infamous POW camp Stalag Luft III, was imprisoned in Doncaster. Released in 1946, Lindeiner chose to stay in Yorkshire, retiring to a bungalow on the coast. When he died in Bridlington, he was cremated there, where, as a mark of respect, mourners spread his ashes by shuffling around, dropping them down their trouser legs. Yorkshire's famous wildlife park nearby at Old Cantley houses the country's only polar bears. These voracious, fresh meat eaters are housed in a realistic Arctic exhibit, where visitors can also see a newly installed group of seal pups, unless you go after lunch. The Yorkshire Equal Opportunities Board was founded in Doncaster, and in 1999 they appointed their first woman commissioner, Jennifer Watson. With her honours degree in human resources, the board said Miss Watson not only brought a new perspective to equal opportunities, but also made a cracking cup of tea. The local writer Roger Atkinson last month published his book called How to Live in the Modern World Without Spending Money. It's already become the most shoplifted book in Waterstones. Let's meet the teams. On my right, Tim Brooke-Taylor and Tony Hawks. And on my left, Pippa Evans and Richard Osman. And taking his place on the scoring desk next to me, please welcome our Nordic tree trunk in trunks. It's the rippling Sven. Well, we start this week with some new additions to the Uxbridge English Dictionary. A good dictionary is essential for the correct use of similar terms. For example, many people don't understand the subtle difference between the words approval and auspices. Well, approval is the belief that someone or something is good or acceptable, whereas auspices are where elderly cockneys spend their final days. But the meanings of words are constantly changing, team. So your suggestions, please, of any new definitions you may have spotted recently. Richard, you can start.
Midwifery, halfway through breaking wind.
Pippa?
Commodore, to punctuate an entrance.
Tim?
Arbitrate, a pirate reminiscing about internet download speeds.
Tony?
Planet, what should have happened with Brexit?
Effluent, well-off southerners.
Hyacinth, an elevated keyboard.
Sounding board, Melvin Bragg's speaking voice.
Elsewhere, to curse in Spanish.
Dim sum, maths is not your strong point.
Paucity, Scunthorpe.
Buffoon, wind instrument with an inflated sense of its own importance.
Coquette, a small penis.
Hogwarts, STD suffered by David Cameron.
Organ donor, substandard kebab.
Servile, Philip Green.
Noblesse, French for without a penis.
Tenacity, community of incontinence sufferers.
Mineshaft, Hitler's more salacious autobiography.
Okay, the teams are going to sing along to some well-known songs now in the round called Pick-Up Song. Sven will spin the discs. Each of you sing along to the records teams until Sven turns the music down. If on its return you're within a gnat's crotchet of the original, I'll be awarding points. And points mean an essentially meaningless exercise in tedious self-congratulation. What do points mean? And this week's prize is 2 tickets for one of the most unexhilarating funfair rides ever conceived, a ghost train bus replacement service. So, Richard, I'd like you to start, and I'd like you to accompany the Arctic Monkeys singing I Bet You Look Good on the dance floor.
Stop making the eyes at me, I'll stop making the eyes at you. And what it is that surprises me is that I don't really want you to. Your shoulders are frozen, cold as the night. Oh, but you're an explosion, you're dynamite. Your name isn't real, but I don't care for sound. And lighting the fuse might result in a bang, bang, go. I bet that you look good on the dance floor. Don't know what you're looking for, a man saw. Don't know what you're looking for. Well, I bet that you look good on the dance floor. Dancing to electro pop like a robot from 1984. From 1984.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, well, you're next, Tim, and I'd like you to accompany Wheatus singing Teenage Dirtbag.
My name is Noel. I have a dream about her. She rings my bell. I got gym class in half an hour. Oh, how she rocks in Keds and tube socks. But she doesn't know who I am. And she doesn't give a damn about me. 'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. Yeah, I'm a teenage dirtbag baby. Listen to Iron Maiden, baby, with me.
There you go. It's wonderful for Tim to hear. I mean, you know, he's had complaints from his shower curtain. Well, you now, Tony, would you accompany French 70s punk artist Plastic Bertrand singing Ça plaint pour moi?
Bam bam, mon chasse-plage, j'ai sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant, prends mon whisky quant à moi, peu dormi, vide et brimé, j'ai dormi dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. Oui, en 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, nous loulou, t'es nu chez moi, poupée de cellophane, cheveux d'ivoire, un sparadrap, un gueule de bois, ami de veine dans un grand en cacatou. Comme un Indien dans son igloo. Ça plaint pour moi. Ça plaint pour moi. Ça plaint pour moi, moi. Ça plaint pour moi. Ça plaint pour moi.
Thank you, Tony. Well, they liked it. And finally, Pippa, would you please accompany Alanis Morissette singing You Ought to Know?
I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both. An older version of me, is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater? Does she speak eloquently? And would she have your baby? I'm sure she'd make a really excellent mother. 'Cause the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No! And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me and hold me until you died? Till you died while you're still alive. And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away.
Thank you, Pippa. Sorry if we've opened an old wound there. It's just a game, you know. You don't have to.
Oh, I feel a lot better.
Well, the teams are going to do a spot of acting for us now in the round called Sound Charades. This is a variation on the old TV favourite, Give Us a Clue, the show that featured Mime Master General Lionel Blair. Sprightly veteran Lionel is still active, and the recent one-man show received a 5-star review from the theatre critic of Out of 100 magazine. Richard and Pippa, you're to start, please, and your title will shortly be displayed to the audience via the laser display screen. And for listeners at home, here's the mystery voice.
Question time. Question time.
So you're guessing this one, Tim and Tony, and our audience may care to clap if they think Tony and Tim are getting warm. So off you go, Richard and Pippa.
It's a television programme. 2 words. Yes, the lady in the blue shirt.
I would like to ask the panel if they go well with chicken.
And the lady, yeah, just at the top, the lady in the glasses, please.
Is it okay to buy you freeze-dried? Or are fresh sprigs preferable?
I think we've got time for one more. I think we'll take the man with the beard and the UKIP badge, please.
Is it true you originally come from Greece? It's a disgrace.
That's all from us. Good night.
Right, so we had two go well with chicken, and it comes in sprigs, which would be it's a herb.
Yeah.
Go on then. Name some herbs, Tim.
Well, there's parsley, sage, rosemary.
Thyme. Question time.
I imagine, though, you were also thinking, I thought there was only 2 people on that team, and I heard at least 3 different people on that team.
No. And I thought my Fiona Bruce was particularly good.
Here's a further title going on the laser display board for you, Tim and Tony. And once again, the mystery voice for listeners at home.
The Longest Day. The Longest Day.
It's a film, and it's 3 words, and it goes like this. So, how tall was Doris?
5'7".
And what about Sir Robin?
Just shy of 6 foot.
Well, it's him then, isn't it?
I wonder if it's the longest day.
Okay, well, this next round is called North Korean Proverbs. So, teams, I have with me a selection of genuine but incomplete North Korean proverbs, and your job is to finish them off for me. Richard, you can start your North Korean proverb, and I'd like you to complete it, please. It starts like this. Where there are many carpenters, there are...
Many radios playing Magic FM.
As he finishes, where there are many carpenters, there are curved walls. Tim, a frightened tiger...
Needs a very big litter tray.
A frightened tiger fears a cat. So, one for you, Pippa, to finish, please. A beautiful flower does not always...
Make up for your mistakes, you shit.
And
I'm here to remind you!
It's actually a beautiful flower does not always smell good. Tony, dog excrement can never be found when you need it for...
Grouting.
It's actually dog excrement can never be found when you need it for medicine. Yes, I know. It's very good for sore throats, apparently. It takes your mind off it, anyway. Well, here are some for any of you to have a go at. Do not kill a mosquito with a...
Large family.
Do not kill a mosquito with a dagger. Here's another one. In order to make a noise, two hands must...
be put together thusly.
How many other things can you do? Yes, in order to make a noise, two hands must meet. Another person's bread might look bigger, but...
You have to agree that those baps are enormous.
It's the full proverb is actually, another person's bread might look bigger, but my child looks better. So, I don't know where you would use that. Frogs don't remember they were...
In a terrible Paul McCartney song.
Frogs don't remember they were once tadpoles. And finally, a little pot...
Makes a lot of these jokes funnier.
Right. It's actually a little pot boils more quickly. OK, teams, well, the next round is called Car or Bedroom. Tim has been telling us he's thinking of upgrading his old Audi, which he says is vital for getting him to his various gigs and professional engagements throughout the country. If you're interested, he says it's a bargain, just 5 years old and 3 miles on the clock. In this round, teams, I'd like you to come up with examples of phrases that might be suitable to use in either the car or the bedroom. Tim.
Oh no, the battery's died.
Tony.
It would have been nice if he'd indicated before pulling out.
Pippa.
Have a rummage around. You might find some Murray mints in there.
Richard.
Tell your mum we should be getting to bang her in about 20 minutes.
Are we nearly there yet?
It wouldn't be taking so long if people didn't keep slowing down to have a look.
Well, you stuck your thumb up, so I stopped.
I'm sorry to ask, but did you ever get tested?
What does this little knob do?
I'm so sorry, I don't normally come this way.
I did say it was small, but I can still manage 2 in the front and 3 in the back.
This is taking longer than I expected.
Oh, no, we don't use the choke anymore.
The council really should have gritted this.
No way I'm letting him in.
Do you want me to take over?
Well, it's now time for some music in the game called Swanee Kazoo. This is where the teams duet to combine the angelic breeze of the Swanee whistle with the playground pop of the kazoo. The kazoo made the news recently when the world's biggest kazoo factory in China's Guangdong district was subject to an arson attack. A local fire chief said it put a huge strain on his men. At one point, they nearly ran out of petrol and matches. Piano, we have Colin Sell. Colin tells us how he once performed on the Triangle with the Bermuda Symphony Orchestra. Mysteriously, as soon as he started to play, the entire audience disappeared. Okay, Tim and Tony, you can start. I'd like you to provide us with a rendition of The Lion Sleeps Tonight to feature Tony Hawks on the kazoo and Tim Brooke-Taylor on the swanny whistle. You now, Pippa and Richard, I'd like you to provide us with a rendition of Don't Go Breaking My Heart to feature Pippa Evans on the kazoo and Richard Osman on the swanny whistle.
Sorry, Colin. Yeah, we can start on the second verse.
Colin would like to... You'd like to start it again, would you, Colin? Yeah, Colin...
Sorry, Colin.
Don't apologise, he's a vibe killer. Well, it's very nearly the end of the show, but there's just time to fit in a quick round of ancient Roman songbook. Our own Sven is a member of his local historical reenactment society and jousts most weekends in full armour. He vividly describes the anticipation before a jousting tournament, nervously waiting pole in hand, before raising his helmet and salute, geeing up his twitching steed and getting tossed off before he knows anything about it. Anyway, teams, in honour of Doncaster's Roman past, I'd like you to suggest song titles likely to appeal to an ancient Roman audience. Tim, you can start.
The Holly and the Ivy.
Richard.
Tiptoe through the tunics.
Pippa.
Gonna party like it's MCMXCIX.
Tony.
We will stone you.
Nights I write Latin.
We don't need another Nero.
Gauls just want to have fun.
C's a jolly good fellow.
Like a Virgil.
A little less crucifixion and a little more action.
Do you think I'm Sextus?
And so, ladies and gentlemen, as the stag party of time overdoes the duty free of destiny, and the Falaraki-bound EasyJet flight of fate is grounded by the pissed-up passengers of posterity. I notice it's the end of the show. So from the teams, Sven, myself and our audience here in Doncaster, it's goodbye. Goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Tony Hawks, Pippa Evans and Richard Osman were being given silly things to do by Jack D, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme consultants were Ian Pattinson and Fraser Steele, and the producer was John Naismith. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Jack D.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. You join us this week on a visit to Coventry, where there's exciting news taking over the title City of Culture in 2021, and that'll make Coventry officially nearly as good as Hull. When manufacturing took off here, Coventry became known as the capital city of torch batteries, with many types such as AAs and PP3s in alkaline and lithium being exported around the world, and the only one that didn't sell everywhere was the PP9, which is German for toilet out of order. The chef, Hugh Fernley-Whittingstall, whose first TV series was Cook on the Wild Side, began his experimental cooking in the countryside around here, foraging for food in fields and hedgerows, eating roadkill and anything he could find. But his children finally objected when he put ginger in a curry. They loved that cat. The Actors Union Equity have a retirement home for elderly performers at Kenilworth. Considered one of the best of its kind, they recently approached our own Tim Brooke-Taylor to see if he would be interested in taking a room there. But sitting all day, every day, staring out of a window with bits of his breakfast splattered down his front, devoid of activity and dreaming of a fleeting career that few could recall, could he really give all that up? Let's meet the teams. Please welcome, on my left, Miles Jupp and Rachel Parris. And on my right, Tim Brooke-Taylor and Harry Hill. And taking his place at the desk next to me to enjoy an evening of scoring, please welcome the ever-rippling Sven. Well, we start this week with a round that's all about musical groups. Choosing a good name for your band can be the difference between success and failure. And with this in mind, teams, I'd like you please to suggest names of bands almost certainly doomed to fail. Tim, you can start.
The Grateful Deaf.
Rachel.
One Dissection.
Miles.
ZZ Bottom.
Harry.
Chaka Kant.
Cosby, Pills and Rash.
Destiny's Piles.
Nob Dylan.
The Whom.
Bros. Sting and the Community Support Police Officers.
The Small Feces.
Speaking of, Stink Floyd.
Public Enema.
Wet, 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 wet. Wet, 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 wet.
Repetition.
Well, time now for a musical round as I ask the teams to sing one song to the tune of another. Coventry is, of course, the home of ska music, and one of British ska's biggest stars was Birmingham-born Ranking Roger, who shot to fame in the 1980s when Jonathan Ross tried to pronounce his name. At the piano, we have Colin Sell, and Colin would like you to know he doesn't just provide piano accompaniment. In the 1980s, he was the man behind Teardrop Explodes, his ill-advised foray into the contact lens solution business. Okay, well, we'll start with you, Harry. I'd like you to sing the words of Single Ladies by Beyoncé to the tune of They'll Always Be in England.
Now everybody, put your hands together. Do we have any single ladies in the house tonight? All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies. Now put your hands up in the club. Just broke up, I'm doing my little thing. You decided to dip, but now you want a trip. Cause another brother notice me, I'm up on him. He up on me, don't pay him any attention. I cried my tears for 3 good years. You can't be mad at me. Cause if you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. That's actually one of the few songs about how to keep pigeons.
Thank you, Harry. Well, it's your turn now, Tim. I'd like you to sing the words of Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood to the tune of Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Relax, don't do it when you want to calm. Relax, don't do it when you want to suck it. Relax, don't do it when you want to calm. But shoot it in the right direction, making it your intention. Oh yeah, live those dreams. Live others our dreams.
It's your turn now, Miles, and I'd like you to sing the words of Creep by Radiohead to the tune of New York, New York.
When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel, your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world, and I wish I was special. You're so very special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Don't care if it hurts. I want to have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to notice when I am not around. You're so very special. I wish I was special. I wish I was so very special. I wish I was special.
Miles, well, finally your turn, Rachel, and I'd like you to sing the words of It's Raining Men by the Weather Girls to the tune of I Vow to Thee, My Country.
Humidity is rising, barometer's getting low. According to all sources, the street's the place to go. 'Cause tonight, for the first time, just about 10:30, for the first time in history, it's gonna start raining. It's raining men, hallelujah. It's raining men, amen. Gonna go out, gonna let myself get absolutely soaking
Thank you, Rachel Parris there, making her debut on the show with that wonderful rendition and having to sing to Colin Sells. Not easy. The next round is all about making connections between words, and it's called Word for Word. Okay, so I'd like you to start exchanging totally unconnected words. Tim and Harry and Miles and Rachel, your job is to try to spot a connection and so on. So off you go, please. Tim and Harry.
Camel.
Stave.
Kangaroo.
Keg.
Miles, kangaroo, keg.
They both start with a K. If that's not a connection, I'd like to know what the hell is.
It's hard to argue with, that, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Fair enough.
I like a bit of fun. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we should have some later on, I imagine. So over to Miles and Rachel now.
Plinth.
Cucumber.
Harry Hill is coming
the
with...
standard way of displaying a cucumber is on a plinth. In a high class grocers.
Yeah. Is that how you mount your cucumbers?
That is a connection, that's true. So it's back to... Harry and I shop in the same place, so we know. So over to Harry and Tim.
Dremel.
Constipation.
Flick.
Elephant. Elephant. What?
Rachel, you've spotted a connection between flick and elephant.
Yes, an elephant's trunk's main function is to flick things. Secondary function.
It's a secondary function of
Still
the,
a function,
of the
though.
tail that uses the tail to flick things. The
Both,
trunk
I
is
would
very
argue.
firmly for
I think you're panicking now,
grabbing.
Harry.
Buns. They're eating buns.
Buns. And they flick water, don't they?
Yeah.
And
They spray water. They don't flick water.
Harry's right.
She's pedantic, is she?
Mm. I think that Rachel's right. She spotted a connection there. So yes, it's over to Rachel and Miles.
Thank you. Scarf.
Federalism.
Autumn.
Guitar.
Tim, autumn guitar.
I always get Qatar in the autumn.
All right, well, it's a connection for you. So, back to Tim and Harry.
Marsupial.
Colonel.
Buttock.
Miles.
The chap who ran the officer training corps at my school was called Colonel Buttock.
That explains a lot.
His butt was worse than his bite.
Yeah, but it was Colonel Kernal.
Oh, yeah, he was allergic to nuts.
No, if Colonel Buttock is part of your horrendous memory of boarding school, Miles, we won't go any further into that, and I'll let Harry and Tim continue for a bit longer.
Gypsum.
Jungle.
Demon.
Mariner.
Pew.
Umbrella.
Rachel, Mariner Pugh.
There are many songs in church about those lost at sea.
Yeah.
It was Pew, P-U-G-A.
I'm going to allow that. I think back to Rachel and Miles.
Plank.
Shaft.
Fillet.
Okay. Tim, are you sure you want to?
Harry made me do it.
Shaft and fillet. Yes, go on then. Go on, Tim.
Well...
Gong has come, which means it's sadly the end of the game. And we'll probably never know whether Tim was right to intervene there or not. OK, the next round is all about unreported historical events. In this round, teams, I shall spin the wheel of history, and every time it alights on a date, I'd like you to provide me with a previously unreported historical event. OK, so let's give the wheel its first spin. Right, that's AD 731. Tim.
731, that was when the first clap clinic was established by the early historian, the venereal Bede. Apparently.
All right, let's spin the wheel again. This one's for you, Rachel, and it's going to land on 1946.
1946, of course, was when Gandhi, after many years of struggle, finally achieved freedom for cloakroom attendants and was honoured with the title Mahatma Coat.
Very nicely done, thank you very much. Let's go for another one. This one's for Miles. Where's it going to land? And it's 1017.
1017, that was the year that King Canute tried to turn back the waves to distract attention from the invention of anagrams.
OK, let's have another one. This time, for a special treat, I'm going to let Colin spin the wheel. Come on, Colin. Put all your strength into it. Never mind. OK, so... Harry, it's 1944.
Well, it's very well known that in 1944, Klaus von Stauffenberg led an attempt on Hitler's life. But what is less well known is that the day before that he attempted that, he tried to push him into some nettles. He didn't like that. So they were making an effort.
Very good. OK, here are some for just any of you to have a go at, and... ...1969.
1969. Well, of course, throughout the 60s, in each different year, different items of cutlery were, of course, being loaned out. Loaned, mind, not given. Loaned. And 1969, famously, was the year of the spoon lendings.
Very good. Let's have another one. Go on, Colin. Have another go. Come on, don't be shy. Come on, give it all you've got this time. 1963.
Yes, Dallas, Texas, Dealey Plaza, overlooking Dealey Plaza, the book depository, and in that book depository was Lee Harvey Oswald depositing a book.
And there's a final one. Colin, have another. Come on, one more go. Come on, just go on. See, when you get angry, you can do things, can't you? And it's landing on 1991.
Well, the 90s, a tumultuous decade. Most famous, I think, for each different year of the 90s, various different shellfish or crustaceans were sort of popping up all over different territories within Eurasia. And 1991 was the scallops of the Soviet Union.
Well, the next game, Bogglebox, is based on the popular Channel 4 favourite, in which television programmes are minutely dissected by a panel of hypercritical viewers. You may not be aware, but something very similar was actually tried on the radio. Here's an extract from the unsuccessful pilot.
Hello. In today's In Our Time, I'll be discussing...
OK, teams, I'd like you to take turns sitting on my imaginary sofa watching television. However, the opposing team is unable to see what show you're watching. Their challenge is to guess the identity of the TV show from your comments alone. And we'll start with you, Miles and Rachel. Your programme's title will shortly be displayed to the audience via the laser display screen for listeners at home. Here's the mystery voice.
The Bodyguard. The Bodyguard.
Right, so Miles and Rachel, start watching your TV show, please.
Ah, he's lovely, isn't he? Always very smartly turned out.
Doesn't have much to say for himself, though.
No, well, just as well, I can't understand a word he's saying. Still, he's a nice boy.
Well, he's a very nice boy, isn't he? Driving around everywhere with his mum.
And so attentive to her. It's mum this and mum that.
She's aged very well, his mum.
Well, with a son like that looking after you, I'm not surprised she's well preserved.
Mind you, he's no angel.
No, he's not. Remember early on that train, you got the foreign woman to take her clothes off? Just as well she was wearing a heavy-duty corset.
Hello, what's going on now?
Oh, he's giving his mum a nice cuddle.
Oh, he's going in for more than a cuddle, I'd say.
Oh, heavens. Are you sure that's his mum?
If it is, she is going to be furious with him. You watch, I bet she explodes.
It's not Michael Portillo's Great Train Journeys, is it?
I think it is, yeah.
24 hours in police custody. Is it? No.
Oh, he's very protective of her, isn't he? I suppose that's his job.
Bodyguard. The bodyguard.
Yes, bodyguard. OK, so it's your turn to be the TV viewers now, Tim and Harry, and your programme's title will now be displayed to the audience via the laser display board, while here again is the mystery voice for listeners at home.
The Goodies. The Goodies.
Can you start watching the TV now, please, Tim and Harry?
Yes.
Oh, God, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this kids' programme.
It's not a kids' programme.
Yeah, it was for kids. Only kids would find this funny. Is this the History Channel? What were we...
For some appalling reason, it's never been repeated, you know.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. When was this made?
70s, those were the days.
Yeah, there was only 3 channels, weren't there? 2 if you lived in Kent. Look at them. Look at them, the 3 of them. Only a matter of time, surely, before Operation U-Tree catches up.
look at that adorable kitten.
That's a big one.
Oh,
that is a big one.
oh dear.
Oh. I didn't think it was possible to ride a bicycle like that.
It wasn't.
I'm sure I've seen the small one with the hair looking at something through binoculars.
A bearded tit?
Yes, that's him. Come on. Which one's your favourite, Tim?
Oh, I like the one on the front.
Oh, or the idiot in the UKIP waistcoat.
You know they nicked that font off Harry Hill.
Oh, they're not going to sing, are they? Turn it off.
Okay. Turn it off.
We both think it's the goodies.
Well, it is very nearly the end of the show, but there is just time to fit in a quick round of British action films. Former army officer Sven tells us he's seen action in many theatres. As a helicopter pilot in the Air Corps, he was renowned for his devotion to even the lowliest of privates. Once after noticing a man down, he skillfully guided his chopper in fast and low, only very reluctantly accepting the order to pull out. So in this round, teams, I'd like you please to suggest the titles of action films that have been made specifically for the British market. Miles, you could start.
Big Trouble in Little Chef.
Tim?
The Girl with the Fag and Tattoo.
Rachel?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Attenborough.
Harry?
Robo Lollipop Lady.
Full Metal Jacket Potato in the John Lewis Cafe.
Mardy Max.
Morris Dances with Wolves.
Gunfight at the OK whatever.
Jolly Good Fellas.
The Fast and the Fairly Ticked Off, actually.
Das Car Boot Sale.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Leather.
The Dear Oh Dear Hunter.
Men in Slacks.
Annie, get your coat, we're leaving.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, as the tanked-up text message of time is drunkenly sent to the previous partner of posterity and later cited in the divisive divorce case of destiny, I notice it's the end of the show. So from the teams, Sven and myself and our audience here in Coventry, it's goodbye. Goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Miles Jupp, Rachel Parris and Harry Hill were being given silly things to do by Jack D, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme consultants were Ian Pattinson and Fraser Steele, and the producer was John Naismith. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Jack D.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. You join us on a second visit to the city of Coventry, known as the Barcelona of the Midlands, but without the architecture and sunshine, the beaches or the cuisine, the feel-good vibe or decent football team. Anyway, probably the most famous name associated with Coventry is Lady Godiva, who in the year 1043 was challenged by her husband, the Earl of Mercia, to ride naked through the city streets in protest against taxation of the poor. Lady Godiva is today immortalised in monetary rhyming slang. Lady Godiva is now a fiver, but in 1043 the slang they used on the day was threepenny bits. Still, that's inflation for you. Lady Godiva's naked form is depicted at Wenlock Abbey in a stained glass window, if the monks forget to wipe it down after. In November 1940, at the height of the Blitz, German bombers destroyed the centre of Coventry, including the cathedral. By 1962, a new cathedral had been built and the area largely restored. In March 1941, the bombers reduced Willenhall to dust and rubble, and by 1976, no one had noticed. But the Luftwaffe weren't the last unwelcome visitors to bomb here. Let's meet the teams. On my left, Miles Jupp and Rachel Parris. And on my right, Tim Brooke-Taylor and Harry Hill. And taking her place on the scoring board next to me, please welcome the delightful Samantha. We start this week with some new additions to the Uxbridge English Dictionary. A good dictionary is essential for learning the correct use of similar words. For example, many people don't understand the subtle difference between the words gloss and eggshell. Well, gloss describes a type of paint which dries to a shiny finish, whereas eggshell is Sean Connery's favourite Microsoft spreadsheet. The meanings of words are constantly changing, teams, so your suggestions, please, of any new definitions you may have spotted recently. Miles, you can start.
Equine, booze for horses.
Tim?
Academy, school for complete bastards.
Rachel?
Indicate, the Duchess of Cambridge's 90s grunge phase.
Harry?
Ayatollah, to flirt with a bell ringer. Obviously, I don't mean anything by that.
No.
I don't want any trouble.
Chateaubriand, French for I went to the loo at Brian's house.
Surcharge, the £5 million Philip Green needs to cough up to keep his knighthood.
Frisbee, insect with an afro.
Maintain, a posh hill.
Sophocles, very tall comedian lying on a settee.
Dogger Bank. A place you can go after hours to make a deposit.
Torpedo, Glastonbury-based nonce.
Panache, the dying embers of a play on words.
Funny you should say that. OK, the teams are going to sing along to some well-known songs in the round called Pick-Up Song. Samantha will spin the discs. Each of you will sing along, teams, until Samantha turns the music down. If on its return you're within a gnat's crotchet of the original, I'll be awarding points. And points mean a frankly sickening indictment of me-centric contemporary Britain. What do points mean? Yes, and this week's prize is the perfect afternoon treat for the politically correct. It's LGBT for two at the Ritz. So, Tim, you're to start, and I'd like you to accompany Meatloaf singing I Would Do Anything for Love.
And I would do anything for love. I'd run right into hell and back. I would do anything for love. I'll never lie to you, and that's a fact. But I'll never forget the way you feel right now. Oh, no. No way. But I would do anything for love. Oh, I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. No, I won't do that.
No, I won't do that.
Unlucky, Tim, and it started so promisingly. Okay,
that's true.
You're next, Miles. I'd like you to accompany the Divine Comedy singing National Express.
Take the National Express when your life's in a mess. It'll make you smile. All human life is here, from the feeble old dear to the screaming child. To the family man handling the pram with paternal pride. And everybody sings. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, we go. On the National Express. Oh. There's a jolly hostess selling
Thank you. Well done, Miles. Jupp. How you do that two voices thing at once. Just brilliant, actually. Well done. You now, Harry Hill, I'd like you to accompany Jerry Rafferty singing Baker Street.
Is it all right if I stand? It's just I've got.
I thought you were standing. Sorry.
I've got a loose rib and it vibrates. A bit. Winding your way down on Baker Street, light in your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day. You'll drink the night away and forget about everything. Hoo-ha! The city desert makes you feel so cold. It got so many people, but it's got no soul. And it's taken you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it held everything. And you used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy, but you're trying now.
Surprise you at home, though you didn't see that actually Harry was playing the trombone himself. Not many people can do that. So finally, would you, Rachel, please accompany Celine Dion singing It's All Coming Back to Me Now?
Yes. When you touch me like this, when you hold me like that, I just have to admit that it's all coming back to me. When I touch you like this, and when I hold you like that, It's so hard to believe, but it's all coming back to me. It's all coming back to me now. There were moments of gold and there were flashes of light. There were things I'd never do again, but then they'd always seemed right. There were nights of endless pleasure. It was more than any laws allow. Baby, baby, if I kiss you like this, and if you whisper like that, it was lost long ago, but it's all coming back to me. Coming back to me
Well, you haven't been doing this show long, so I'll make allowances. The teams are going to do a spot of acting for us now in the round called Sound Charades. This is a variation on the old TV classic Give Us a Clue, a show that featured Mime Master General Lionel Blair. Sprightly 90-year-old Lionel still has the travel bug and recently enjoyed a Pacific cruise with his partner. As part of the itinerary, Lionel visited the Galapagos Islands, where he met George the Giant Tortoise. The trip wasn't without incident, as on departure, a confused nature warden wouldn't let Lionel leave the island. On the plus side, his wife and the tortoise did enjoy the cruise back to Southampton. Tim and Harry, you're to start, please, and your title will shortly be displayed to the audience via the laser display screen for listeners at home. Here's the mystery voice.
Inglorious Bastards. Inglorious Bastards.
Off you go, please, Tim and Harry.
It's a film and it's 2 words and it goes like this. Oh, hello, Sean.
A tap of the man into your paddy.
Is that too much? Sorry, mate. If I dial it back a bit.
Where in God's name are you off to dressed like that?
Oh, well. Well now, you remember the Irish presenter lady?
The Honeyford woman?
Yes.
What's she done now?
Well, she's only after putting together a boy band. And I've got an audition.
Oh, well, I might join then.
Oh, no. She's only accepting boys like myself, who were born out of wedlock now.
So, if you pass the audition, you could end up...
Yes.
In... the end.
Well...
Gosh, very reminiscent of Ken Loach's The Wind That Shakes the Barley.
We got the Hungerford reference.
To that,
oh, you
so
got that one.
But you didn't say Gloria.
Gloria.
The word Gloria.
So we think it's Inglorious Bastards.
Well got, very good. So your turn now, Miles and Rachel, and your title is now being exhibited on the laser display board. And here again is the mystery voice for listeners at home.
Loose Women. Loose Women.
It's a television show, and it's 2 words.
You're soaking wet.
I been swimming.
And where have you been swimming?
I been swimming down the toilet. It's
That's it.
Did it feature Janet Street Porter? By any chance?
I think it does, and I think you know what it is, don't you?
Is it loose women? Blue swimming.
Well, this next game is called Not My Fault and is all about disasters in the workplace. Of course, disasters can just as easily happen at home. Only recently I was in the kitchen trying to follow Jamie Oliver's instructions for the correct way to prepare his pucker pineapple pudding when I was told, hold sharp cleaver in one hand, grab pineapple crown and whack off. I did, and very nearly fell off the worktop. In this round, one team are the organisers of certain attractions, and the other team are dissatisfied customers. Okay, so you can be the dissatisfied customers, please, Miles and Rachel, and you've just travelled on Tim and Harry's space shuttle, and you should outline your complaints, and it's Tim and Harry's job to improvise their excuses. Off you go.
Well, I just want to start off by saying we did have a nice time.
We did have a nice time.
We did have a nice time.
So what's the problem?
What's the problem, yeah?
Well, there was a number of things that we noticed, I suppose, that we, in retrospect, we're a little frustrated and bemused by.
Did you experience any G-force?
Very little, I think, in fairness to ourselves. I mean, it was quite, I'm not saying it was uncomfortable.
No, there were bumps, but it felt more like going over speed bumps, if anything.
I have to say, and I'm not deliberately going out of my way to look for criticisms here, but one of the things I was most looking forward to about going to space, I think we both were, we talked about it for several months while saving up the $250,000 necessary to pay. I was looking forward to the view.
I was looking forward to the view, yeah, and you did ask us to pull across little red curtains across the windows, so that was a disappointment.
At the beginning, did you see the very bright object in the sky?
Well, we did see. We saw something. It was certainly orange.
Like a large orange moon.
That's right. Although it was on top of a sort of black and white
and it
stick.
was flashing.
And what was curious, of course, because there was another one on the other side.
But they were all probably orbiting each other.
Right.
That's
right.
the explanation for this phenomenon, is it? Yeah. I've always been quite obsessed with the idea of experiencing weightlessness. And that, I think, in fairness, once we removed the seat belts, nothing seemed to happen.
No.
Well, to be honest, you are quite heavy.
Right. Am I so heavy that the removal of gravity would have no impact, Tommy? Are you sure you understand how gravity works?
I think maybe what you were experiencing was the next stage from weightlessness, which is weightfulness.
One elderly gentleman who, incidentally, I had to give up my seat for, had to get out for a spacewalk. At one point, and I was a bit concerned about the lack of attention to his health and safety because he had no cord attached to him, and when he came back he was quite out of breath and carrying some groceries.
I mean, there's probably a perfectly rational explanation for it, but what is it, we wondered?
I'll let my partner answer that.
His daughter was very keen for him to go, and
fair enough. Yeah.
Ideally not come back.
The driver, pilot,
yeah,
did say that we would need to ding the bell in order to stop.
Yeah. And by this point we were getting quite cross with them because we'd already had to pay him $250,000 in exact change.
They didn't even have contactless.
Let's try that the other way around. This time you can be the dissatisfied customers, Tim and Harry, and you have just visited Miles and Rachel's TV theme park. And you're not happy about it, so you can start complaining now, please.
We're not happy is an understatement, isn't it?
We're not. And I think you had an issue with the Love Island...
I did.
Ride.
The Love Island log flume, yes. You get two things to take home as a permanent reminder of the trip. You get a photo and chlamydia.
I suppose the thing is, if that is a venereal disease you've already got, then we're happy to get you an additional one as well.
And I will say chlamydia is one of the...
It's one of our most popular.
It's one of our most popular venereal diseases, and it is authentic to the show.
I had an issue with the Strictly themed Tunnel of Love.
Yeah, that was...
I went in with my wife. And came out with Anton de Beck.
Are you honestly telling me that this wasn't what you were expecting?
To be honest, it wasn't what we were expecting.
No, not by any stretch.
Who were you expecting to end up with?
Sean Walsh. As advertised. What possessed you to have an Ant McPartlin-themed Dodgems?
You must have enjoyed some of it, though. Did you like the Homes Under the Hammer carousel?
We did quite enjoy the Eamon Holmes bouncy castle.
No, that was Eamon Holmes. And you have to take your shoes off when you climb on top of him. I don't know if you knew that.
That was his only rule.
It's a good job he's not sensitive about his weight, isn't it?
Oh, well, that means it's the end. Well done. Well, this next round is all about reviews. In this round, I shall present the teams with a selection of genuine internet reviews, and their job is to correctly identify to what the review is referring. So, Tim, what's this a review for? If you find yourself at a point in life where you don't have to impress anyone, I highly recommend these.
Degrees in media studies.
It's actually a review of Crocs, unisex adults, classic clogs from Amazon. How about this one, Rachel? Great when I was a child, but now revolting.
Is it uncles?
It's actually a review of Ribena from Ocado. Miles, very male-dominated and pays scant attention to female pleasure.
Is it Radio 4?
It's actually The Joy of Sex by Alex Comfort. Harry, what's being reviewed here? At least it saves you from having to go to Birmingham.
Death. Review of Death. No, that's very mean.
The answer was IKEA in Coventry.
Ah, yes.
From TripAdvisor. Tim, what's being reviewed here? My husband loves it, and you can get spare heads.
An Anne Boleyn Barbie doll.
It's for a Remington shaver. And what about this one, Rachel? Ideal size as my husband was a big man.
A landmine.
It was actually a review of a cremation urn. From Amazon. Okay. Miles, what about this one? More graphic than I expected.
A book of graphs.
It's The Joy of Sex, again. And finally, Harry, it's become such an annoyance that I've switched it off.
My nan's life support machine. We couldn't have toast in the morning and nan.
No, it's again from Amazon. It was Alexa smart speaker. Well, it is very nearly the end of the show, but there is just time to fit in a quick round of car or bedroom. And in it, I'd like you teams to come up with examples of phrases that might be suitable to use in either the car or the bedroom. Miles, you could start.
Please slow down, you're making me nervous.
Tim.
Oh my God, you've got a puncture.
Harry.
Darling, should I take the first or second exit?
Rachel.
Sorry, it's a mess. The kids have absolutely ruined it.
I really love it when you wear your driving gloves.
You should really be keeping 2 chevrons between us and the couple in front.
Did you call your mother to say we're coming?
Hello, officer.
Oh, just wake me up when we get there.
Oh dear, I've got a flat. I think I'm going to need a pull.
Unbelievable. Not even a thank you.
I think I've left skid marks.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, as the tetchy taxi driver of time refuses the Scottish fiver of fate, and the pissed-off passenger of posterity is abandoned by the ring road of regret, I notice it's the end of the show. So, from the teams, Samantha, myself, and our audience here in Coventry, it's goodbye. Goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Miles Jupp, Rachel Parris and Harry Hill were being given silly things to do by Jack D, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme consultants were Ian Pattinson and Fraser Steele, and the producer was John Naismith. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Jack D.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. You join us this week in the town of Windsor. Yes, Berkshire's finest suburb of Slough. Eton College is close by. Noted old Etonians include the explorer Henry Fox Pitt Rivers, who travelled widely amongst the North American native tribes in the 19th century, becoming an honorary member of the Cherokee and even living among them. On arriving at his teepee, Pitt Rivers records how well equipped he found it, complete with fireplace, stove and oil lamps, and even found running water in the bathroom, so apologised and came back when he'd finished. The Pitt Rivers Museum is currently presenting an exhibition on the development of the modern USA, including an explanation of the difference between terms such as pavement and sidewalk, gas and petrol, or aluminium and aluminum. The difference is a basic grasp of the English language. Famous residents of Old Windsor include Elton John. Elton recently published details of his excessive use of illegal drugs back in the 1980s, saying at one point it got so bad he was nearly nominated for the Conservative Party leadership contest. This area is dominated by the effects of Heathrow Airport. When Michael O'Leary wanted to obtain operating rights there recently, the Ryanair boss employed an expensive firm of aviation lawyers to take legal action. They lost his case. The high street retailer Waitrose have their headquarters in nearby Bracknell. Waitrose is known for its policy of helping Berkshire's underprivileged, generously giving away any unsold bread makers to the second homeless. The town of Windsor is home to the Behavioural Research Centre. They've determined that you can tell a lot about a person simply from looking at their car. For example, if your car's on its roof in a ditch, then you're probably the Duke of Edinburgh. But he's not the only astonishingly old person here heading inevitably to a car crash. Let's meet the teams. Please welcome, on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And on my right, Brooke-Taylor and Joe Brand. And taking his place at the desk next to me to enjoy an evening of scoring, please welcome the ever-rippling Sven. We start this week with a round called One Letter Wrong Songs. The changing of a single letter in the title of a band can play havoc. Witness The Grateful Dad and Men Without Cats. But what if some of our most popular songs were to suffer a similar change? Teams, I'd like you to suggest some of those songs, please. Barry.
50 Ways to Leave Your Liver.
Tim?
Got to Get You Into My Wife.
Joe.
I'm dreaming of a shite Christmas.
Graeme.
Crazy Stupid Gove.
My Sweet Lard.
I Put a Smell on You.
Come in, Eileen.
The Lady is a Trump.
Hello, is it me you're cooking for?
I Want You Back for Food.
Sweat, Caroline.
Heaving on a jet plane.
Suspicious Winds.
I can pee clearly now.
It started with a piss.
Well, it's now time. Well, it's now the time when I ask our teams to sing one song to the tune of another. And providing the musical accompaniment for this round is someone who needs no introduction, because he's never invited anywhere. It's Colin Sell. Okay, well, we'll start with you, Barry, and I'd like you to sing the words of the Hokey Cokey to the tune of the Funeral March.
You put your left arm in, your left arm out. In, out, you shake it all about. You do the hokey cokey and you turn around. That's what it's all about, the hokey cokey. Whoa, the hokey cokey. Whoa, the hokey cokey. Knees bent, arms stretched. Rah, rah, rah.
All right, well, you now, Joe, I'd like you to sing the words of Teenage Dirtbag to the tune of the Teddy Bear's Picnic.
Her name is Noel, I've had a dream about her, she rings my bell. I got gym class in half an hour, oh how she rocks. In Keds and tube socks, but she doesn't know who I am, and she doesn't give a damn about me, 'cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby, yeah. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby, listen to Iron Maiden baby with me, ooh. Her boyfriend's a dick, he brings a gun to school, and he'd simply kick my ass, and if he knew the truth, he lives on my block, and he drives an IROC, but he doesn't know who I am, and he doesn't give a damn about me.
Joe Band. What have been good if the household guard hadn't marched in at the end. Your turn now, Tim. I'd like you to sing the words of Hanky Panky by Madonna to the tune of The Sun Has Got His Hat On.
Some girls they like candy and others they like to grind. I'll settle for the back of your hand somewhere on my behind. Treat me like a bad girl even when I'm being good to you. I don't want you to thank me, you can't just spank me. Some guys like to sweet talk and others they like to tease. Behind my hands, behind my back, and oh, I'm in ecstasy. Oh, don't slobber me with kisses. I can get whack from my sisters before I get too cranky. You had better like Panky, Panky.
And finally, Graeme, I'd like you to sing the words of You're a Pink Toothbrush, I'm a Blue Toothbrush to the tune of the William Tell Overture.
You're a pink toothbrush, I'm a blue toothbrush. Have we met somewhere before? You're a pink toothbrush, and I think toothbrush that we met by the bathroom door. I'm glad to meet toothbrush, that's a sweet toothbrush. How you thrill me through and through. Don't be hard toothbrush on a soft toothbrush, 'cause I can't help loving you. Every time I hear you whistle, it makes my nylon bristle. You're a pink toothbrush, I'm a blue toothbrush. Won't you marry me in haste?
Graeme Gardner. Well, the next game is called Uncoupling, and it involves exchanging the names of famous people. And married couples often feel the need to pass their names on to the next generation, so we should be grateful that some celebrity unions never took place. For example, if Whoopi Goldberg and Peter Cushing had tied the knot. Whoopi Cushing. Britney Spears and Brian Ferry could have given us Britney Ferry. Zoe Ball and Leonard Sachs. Or Anne Widdecombe and John Sargent. There's no joke, just a horrible thought. OK, Tim and Joe, I'd like you to start exchanging the names of completely unconnected celebrities. So, Barry and Graeme, your job is to try to spot a connection. So off you go, please, Tim and Joe.
Jack Dee.
Sherlock Holmes.
Clement Attlee.
Lady Gaga.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Muhammad Ali.
Graeme, you came in with a connection between Jeremy Corbyn and Muhammad Ali?
Yes, the rumble in Islington. Not many people remember that fight.
And who was it between those two?
No, but even so, their names came up.
Well, OK, fair enough. I'll take your word for it. So it's over to you, Graeme and Barry.
Queen Victoria.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Joe.
Born in the same year.
Well spotted, quite right. Over to you, Joe and Tim.
Bobby Charlton.
Captain Scott.
The Count of Monte Cristo.
Stormzy.
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Graeme, Stormzy and Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yeah, I mean, do I need to spell it out?
Yes.
They've both had a very successful career in the world of rap.
I think you're one letter shy of the truth in Jacob Rees-Mogg's case. I think you're close enough. So over to you, Graeme and Barry.
Boris Johnson.
Jenny Eclair.
Tim, Boris Johnson and Jenny Eclair.
I haven't met either of them.
Well, then there is a connection between the two, so it's over to you, Tim and Joe.
Donald Trump.
Enid Blyton.
Barry.
Both pioneers of fiction.
I think we'll have to allow you that one. So it's back to Barry and Graeme.
Mata Hari.
Stephen Fry.
Meghan...
Hesitation.
True. Meghan Markle.
Repetition. What do you say, Nicholas?
I say you're needlessly making this a very painful round, Tim.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Back to you, Barry.
Adele.
And that gong tells us that we've run out of the will to live. Okay, the next round is all about unreported historical events. History is a popular topic, and historical artifacts constantly smash auction house sales records worldwide. Only recently, a monogrammed pair of Adolf Hitler's underpants sold at auction in Geneva for over £5,000, despite being catalogued as displaying slight wear in the gusset, one side only. All right. So in this round, teams, I shall activate the lottery machine of time, and every time it alights on a date, I'd like you to provide me with a previously unreported historical event which happened at that time. And to assist me with the task tonight, we'll be using Lancelot, operated by none other than the voice of the bulls himself, Alan Dedicoat. Alan. A very big welcome. So are you ready to give those balls a spin?
I am.
Right.
I'm very excited by the prospect.
We are too. Very excited to have you here. So off we go. Let's...
$11.80.
So, Tim, can you please name an unreported historical event which occurred in 1180?
Parcel Force make their first ever delivery in Troy, where they leave a big horse-shaped package with a neighbour.
One more spin, thank you.
$15.53.
So, Barry, your turn.
1553, Bloody Mary takes the crown. The runners-up are Tom Collins and Harvey Wallbanger.
Another spin, please, Alan.
978 AD.
Joe.
Oh, yeah, 978. OK, Ethelred the Unready launches his unsuccessful range of torch batteries.
1914.
Graeme.
1914, an unsightly lump appears on the Earth's surface. It's the outbreak of the First World War.
1455, the houses of Lancaster and York throw chocolates at each other in the Wars of the Roses.
These quick spins are for any of you to have a go at.
1602.
The Navy introduces the lemon juice diet to stop sailors getting curvy.
1587.
1587, Queen Elizabeth solves the problem of her Scots cousin Mary's low ceilings.
1547.
Russia gets its first perforated Tsar, Ivan the Terrible.
1876.
1876, a famous American event, General Custer's one-night stand, during which he gets the little bighorn.
And finally...
1796.
And Samuel Hahnemann, the inventor of homeopathy, dies of an underdose.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, please, for Alan Dedicoat. Thank you. The next game is called The Symptoms, and it's all about the world of medicine. As we know, despite all the recent technological advances, there is still only so much modern medicine can do. On that note, Barry Cryer is to be applauded for taking part in today's recording, as he found out yesterday that, very sadly, his agent has passed away 8 years ago. In this round, the teams will assume the role of doctors and patients suffering from an imaginary medical condition. And you can be our first patients, Tim and Joe. The identity of your mystery medical condition is now being displayed to our theatre audience via the laser display screen. And for listeners at home, here's the mystery voice.
Tim and Joe think they're shoes. Tim and Joe think they're shoes.
So it's time for your appointment, Tim and Joe. You must outline your symptoms to doctors Barry and Graeme, and they'll be awarded points based on how accurately they're able to diagnose your condition. So off you go.
Come in, do.
Come in.
Thank you.
Sit down.
Yes. Put your clothes over there on top of mine.
I've never gone private before. Okay. You're not our usual doctors. Is Dr. Martin not working today?
No, the thing is, I think I'm too big.
It's the absolute converse with me. I think I'm too small.
No, you're not too small. You're just very tight.
I'm not surprised after last night. Also, and this is a bit awkward for me, every morning starts with the horn.
Well, I'm feeling worn out, the pressure of work.
We both used to work in a bank, didn't we?
Yes, we were clerks. Then I went to work in Boots.
I suffer a lot of stress every day. I'm worried they might soon carry me off in a box.
I think they threw away your box a long time ago, Tim. Now, you run an illegal farm, so of course there'll be pressure. Tell them what sort of animals you farm.
Well, it's, hush.
Puppies.
I find the anxiety is making me smell.
Oh, I had an odour problem. I just slipped a couple of pads on my bottom and it went away.
We make a great pair.
We certainly do.
Thank you.
The word cobblers springs to mind.
They think they're shoes.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Your turn to be patients, Barry and Graeme. And the identity of your mystery medical condition will now be displayed to the audience via the laser display board, while here again is the mystery voice for listeners at home.
Barry and Graeme think they're fireworks. Barry and Graeme think they're fireworks.
So what seems to be the problem?
We don't feel too good, really, do we?
No, 1 minute we're up,
Yeah.
next minute we're down.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we were bright in our day and then burnt out now. I started out at the corner shop, full of promise, but I feel I've been a great disappointment to everybody since then.
They said I was a shooting star.
They did. You were a big noise once, weren't you?
Yeah. Meteoric rise.
Yeah, you were hot stuff.
And now it all goes up in smoke.
Yeah. We're not happy anymore. I was happy in the old days going round with Catherine.
You know, people used to think we were crackers.
Yeah. And then I got this burning pain in the backside and everybody stood well back.
Crowds used to love us, didn't they?
did,
Yeah,
they
they'd
would,
go,
they-
ooh,
Yeah.
and ah, and sometimes
Ouch.
Yes. Can you help us?
No. I think you might be fireworks.
Well, this next round is called Complete Playground Rhymes. For some of us, our time at school will have been a traumatic experience. For example, Tim Brooke-Taylor was telling us how he vividly remembers the occasion he wet himself in class. He says the worst part was the humiliating walk of shame back to the staff room. I brought with me some genuine children's playground rhymes collected from British schools over the past 50 years, all of which are incomplete, and the team's task is to guess what the endings might be. So the first one's for you, Tim. Can you complete this playground rhyme? Jenny got the measles, the measles, the measles. Jenny got the measles, so...
Get your child vaccinated.
It was Out Goes You. Barry, one for you here. One day he gave me peaches, one day he gave me pears, one day he gave me 50 pence and kissed me on the stairs. I gave him back his peaches, I gave him back his pears, I gave him back his 50 pence and...
called Operation U-Tree.
Kicked him down the stairs. Joe, how about this one? A duke came a-riding, a-riding, a-riding. A duke came a-riding.
Right onto the main road without looking, silly bugger.
It used to be on a summer's day. Graeme, this one's for you now. Everybody hates me, nobody likes me, so I'm...
Going back to the White House.
You used to be going down the garden to eat some worms. Another one for you, Tim. So can you finish this rhyme? Copycat, copycat, I don't know.
Who stuffed a cat in the photocopier?
So I don't know what you're looking at. It says, Barry, there were 10 in the bed and the little one said...
Where's Boris?
It's roll over, roll over. Joe, how about this one? Booby 1, booby 2.
I was quite alarmed when the third one grew.
It was Blackwall Tunnel, Waterloo. Graeme, this one for you. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Eyes and mouth and ears and nose.
And make sure they completely fill the sausage skin.
It's actually head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. OK, here are some for any of you to have a go at. Inky, pinky, ponky, my daddy bought a donkey.
Inky, pinky, parcel, my daddy is an arsehole.
It's donkey died, daddy cried, inky, pinky, ponky. Another one here. Cinderella, dressed in red, went to town to buy some bread.
As she was very modern, she got quinoa instead.
In fact, the old one was on the way, her knickers busted. How many people were disgusted? All right. Honoured to have you in, Mum. I lost my arm in the army. I lost my leg in the navy.
Surely we can come up with a better recruiting slogan, Dave.
It was, I lost my balls in the butcher's shop and found them in the gravy. And finally, my friend Billy had a 10-foot willy. He showed it to the girl next door.
Without leaving his bed.
It was, she thought it was a snake and hit it with a rake, and now it's only 2'4". Well, it's very nearly the end of the show, but there is just time to fit in a quick round of Accident and Emergency Film Club. Sven tells us that most work-related accidents happen on building sites between the hours of 9 and 11 a.m. and involve blunt trauma to the head caused by timber planks, a fact he learnt from bitter experience when he worked as a carpenter. Sven says it happened on site amongst a bunch of half-naked construction workers. Apparently he'd just got his morning wood when he inadvertently knocked one out. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to suggest titles of films likely to appeal to patients in a hospital A&E department. Tim, you can start, please.
A Farewell to Arms.
Joe.
Saving Ryan's Privates.
Barry.
The Chronicles of Hernia.
Graeme.
Who's eating Gilbert's grapes?
From smear to maternity.
Diarrhea another day.
A catheter runs through it.
Medicating Rita.
MRSA Doubtfire.
With nail in eye.
Schindler's Cyst.
The Hunt for a Bed in October.
Bring me the head nurse, Alfredo Garcia.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as the determined dachshund of destiny rolls in the festering fox crap of fate before ponging out the pristine people carrier of posterity, I notice it's the end of the show. So, from the teams, Sven, myself, and our audience here in Windsor, it's goodbye. Goodbye.
Barry Cryer, Graeme Garden, Brooke-Taylor and Joe Brand were being given silly things to do by Jack D, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme consultants were Ian Pattinson and Fraser Steele, and the producer was John Naismith. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Jack D.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. You join us on a second visit to Windsor. Conveniently only an hour and a half away from 1958. Britain's first ever driving tests were conducted near here in Berkshire. In 1931, all new car and lorry drivers had to pass a basic test. Then, in 1938, motorcyclists. Road regulations are constantly updated, and it's currently being considered whether tests should be introduced for BMW drivers. The area around Windsor's Mill Lane became known as Millionaires Row in the 1960s, being popular with film stars such as Roger Moore, Dora O'Brien and Norman Wisdom, names we still remember today. I sometimes imagine if I were given £1 for every time I saw a Norman Wisdom film, I might start watching them. During the recent royal wedding, for the first time, the family and their entourage rode around the town in a cavalcade of golden coaches, accompanied by guardsmen on horseback. But as they passed through the Mill Lane area, with its 6-bedroom detached properties typically on a landscaped half-acre with swimming pools and tennis courts, the royals were amazed. They had no idea Windsor had a shanty town. Close by here is Eton College, of course, famous as the school which takes pupils who are wealthy enough to afford the fees, but too thick even for Harrow. Until his death last year, nearby Reading FC was home to Britain's longest-serving groundsman, Tommy Reynolds, who spent his entire working life tending to the ground and preparing it for matches. When he passed away in accordance with his wishes, Tommy's remains were scattered on the pitch. However, during the next home game, it became apparent that his family really should have had him cremated. Notable locals include the remarkable Doreen Jones, who was awarded an MBE recently when she retired from her job at Windsor Post Office. After 50 years' service, she's remembered by Royal Mail for never taking a single day's sick leave, and by her colleagues as that bloody old woman who kept giving them a flu. Famous Berkshire residents include the Britain's Got Talent and X Factor judge Simon Cowell, who lives on an exclusive gated estate near here. It was reported recently that a neighbour's large dog repeatedly tried to attack Mr. Cowell, so the Residents' Association paid for it to be taken to a vet to have its teeth sharpened. But he's not the only one off the telly who locals might set the dogs on. Let's meet the teams. On my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And on my right, Brooke-Taylor and Joe Brand. And taking his place on the scoring desk next to me, please welcome our resident tree trunk in trunks, the immaculate Sven. We start this week with some new additions to the Uxbridge English Dictionary. Good dictionary is essential for learning the correct use of similar words. For example, many people don't understand the subtle difference in meaning between the words deteriorating and languishing. Well, deteriorating means becoming progressively worse, whereas languishing are those big prawns you get on holiday. The meanings of words are constantly changing, teams, so your suggestions, please, of any new definitions you may have spotted recently. Joe, you can start.
Futon, Japanese for Christ, my back hurts.
Tim.
Legroom, a Frenchman on his wedding day.
Barry.
Hispanic, fear of snakes.
Graeme.
Cogitate, art gallery for the elderly.
Tit, to strike a Yorkshireman.
Morrissey, bit like a Morris dancer.
Jeopardy, a bit like a jeopard.
Pustulant, festive boil that lasts till Easter.
Polymer, one of the gifts to baby Jesus from the 3 wise parrots.
Circumvent, Jewish wife fronts.
Collegiate, what they call Colin in Ireland.
Somersault, sodium chloride available only between the months of June and September.
Parity, a bit like a parrot.
Beholder, a hive.
Remember to sew a severed limb back on.
Whiskey, a bit like a whisk.
Copper bottom, take a note of her posterior.
OK, the teams are going to sing along to some well-known songs now in the round called Pick-Up Song. Tim and Graeme were telling us there's some wonderful footage of their performance of the Funky Gibbon on Top of the Pops back in 1975. However, since it was sandwiched between Rolf Harris and Gary Glitter and introduced by Jimmy Savile, we'll just have to take their word for it. OK, teams, Sven will spin the discs. Each of you should sing along to your records until Sven turns the music down. If on its return you're within a gnat's crotchet of the original, I'll be awarding points, and points mean an ultimately hollow gesture indicative of a general intellectual malaise. What do points mean? Prizes! And this week's prize is the perfect adult entertainment site for vegetarians. It's a year's subscription to Cornhub. Barry, you're to start, and I'd like you to accompany Johnny Cash singing A Thing Called Love.
6'6", he stood on the ground. He weighed 235 pounds.
Saw that giant of a man brought down to his knees by love. He was the kind of man that would gamble on luck, look you in the eye and never back up. But I saw him crying like a little whip-pup because of love. You can see it with your eyes, hold it in your hand, built like the wind that covers our land, strong enough to move the heart of any man, this thing called love. It can lift you up, never let you down.
Never let you down. Take your world and turn it all around.
Sorry. OK, you're next, Joe. I'd like you to accompany Alicia Dixon singing The Boy Does Nothing.
I got a man with 2 left feet, and when he dances not to the beat, I really think that he should know
that his rhythms go, go, go. I got a man with 2 left feet, and when he's singing this much too high, I really think that he should know that his times go, go, go. Does he wash up? He never washes up. Does he clean up? No, he never cleans up. Does he brush up? No, he never brushed up. He does nothing. The boy does nothing. I'm miles out and I don't give a toss. Does he wash up? He never washes up. Brush up. Does he clean up? No, he doesn't do anything. He's never hoovered in his life.
Hey boy, how you been?
Sorry, Jack, I got too carried away with my own domestic circumstances.
Yes, you let your personal life into it. That was the trouble. You meant to leave it at the door, but it was very good, actually. It was very close. I've just heard that the Queen has rung Heathrow and asked her to send more aircraft over. Well, you now, Graeme, would you accompany... I used to think the harmonica was underrated. Until I heard Graeme playing it. And finally, Tim, can you please accompany Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons singing Walk Like a Man?
Oh, how you tried to cut me down to size by telling dirty lies to my friends. But my own father said, give her up, don't bother, the world isn't coming to an end. He said, walk like a man, talk like a man, walk like a man, my son. No woman's worth crawling on the earth, so walk like a man, my son. Ooh.
Tim. Well, teams are going to do a spot of acting for us now in the round called Sound Charades. This is a variation of the old TV favourite, Give Us a Clue, the show that featured Mime Master General Lionel Blair. Sprightly 90-year-old Lionel is about to star in a fly-on-the-wall TV documentary chronicling his relationship with his agent over the course of an entire year. It's called I Haven't Got News for You. Tim and Joe, you're to start, please, and your title will shortly be displayed to the audience via the laser display screen. And for listeners at home, here's the mystery voice.
Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel.
So off you go, please, Tim and Joe.
It's a film, and it's 2 words, and it goes like this.
Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Mrs. Nibbs.
Are you here for your weekly consignment of dried skimmed milk powder?
I am Mrs. Nibbs. My cup of tea simply isn't the same without it.
Goodbye, Captain.
Goodbye, Mrs. Nibbs.
Just a wild guess, Captain Marvel.
Right, your turn, Barry and Graeme, and your title is now being exhibited on the laser display board, and here again is the mystery voice for listeners at home.
Batman Begins. Batman Begins.
It's a film and it's 2 words.
2 words. Hamish.
Dougal, you'll have had your tea.
Oh, I already have an invitation to tea and a plate of fancies.
You're looking very dapper today.
I am away to our military reunion. You recall I served in the 21st Highland Mounted Infantry.
I didn't know you were mounted.
Oh, on a regular basis, yes.
Did you see any action?
On a regular basis, yes.
So this is your full-dress uniform?
It is.
You'll have had your sporran shampooed.
That I have.
And I see you've had your pips polished.
Well, kilts are being worn very short this year.
Surely as an officer you don't do all that yourself?
Oh, of course not. I have a faithful serving man who looks after all my needs. Christopher takes care of me very well.
Oh. Well, that's a relief. I imagine Christopher's a trained valet and chef.
No. Strangely enough, Christopher is a portly and much-loved TV star. You'd know him by his unmistakable laugh. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
something to do with Biggins?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Batman Begins.
Oh, okay.
It's now time to play the game called Mornington Crescent. First, I notice our in tray is buckling under the weight of a letter. It comes from a Mrs. Trellis of North Wales. She writes, Dear Bruno Tonioli, sorry to report I'm making slow progress in my waltz classes. For every 2 steps forward, it's 1 step back. Yours sincerely, Mrs. Trellis. Okay, and as we're in Windsor, it's only proper that we should play the royal version of the game, so progression will be stately, waving is optional, subordinate stops will be deemed inappropriate, and all moves will be made in accordance with the rules laid down by Gold Stick Marshal of the Monarch's Indulgence. Destinations with royal connections score double, river stations are not permitted unless the Queen's barge master is in attendance. Tim, you can start.
Queensway.
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 Do I get double for that?
No, you don't.
Oh.
It's not named after the Queen, Queensway.
What?
If you want to know, it's not named after the Queen.
Right.
Oh.
Is it named after the king, then?
I don't know, I'm in too deep now. Barry.
Barry, you're next.
King's Cross.
Oh, good one, yes.
Yes, that's double.
That's not related to the Queen.
No, the King.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Got to be sharp.
Can I just ask, what does subordinate stops will be deemed inappropriate mean?
You don't need to know unless you transgress that rule. It's not. I will let
All right,
you know.
well, let's try one.
I'll let you know.
Parsons Green.
No. Try again, please, Joe.
Blackfriars Bridge.
Yeah, fine. Hope that makes it clearer now.
Yeah, Crystal.
That was rather good.
London Bridge.
Finchley Road.
Earl's Court.
Paddington.
Oh.
Barons Court.
Green Park. That's right, yeah. Yeah.
Marble Archie.
Crawler.
Prince's Gate.
Prince's Gate, yes.
Prince's Gate. That puts me in a difficult position,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Can I play a Thames link?
River station's not permitted unless the Queen's barge master is in attendance.
River station's not. Oh.
No.
No, I have to go inland then to Fairlop.
Oh, nice one.
Fairlop, I can't allow you to have as it's swanning season.
That's difficult, isn't it? Morden.
Morden, yes.
Yeah.
Craven Cottage.
Ooh.
Oh.
Is that allowed?
It isn't actually allowed. The term cottage is related to members of the royal family that we won't go into at the moment. But that's yes. I'd like you to try again, please.
Clapham Common.
Waterloo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not transgressing the river thing, is it, Waterloo?
No, it's a station.
Bank.
Ooh.
Let's see what happens.
Elephant and Castle.
Mornington Crescent.
Well, the next game is called What's the Problem? Modern living throws up constant problems and can often be exasperating. For example, the other day I was attempting to follow the recipe for Jamie Oliver's funky fruit tart. When he told me to plop in the cherries, I did and very nearly fell off the worktop. Teams, I'll provide you each with some genuine answers to various household queries, and your job is to suggest what the original question might have been. Barry, the The first one's for you. Here's the answer. What's the question? A can of Coke, 2 crushed aspirins, some detergent, and your usual cycle.
What do I need to enter the Tour de France?
It's actually, what do I need to clean particularly grimy clothes? The aspirins work well on ground in sweat. Tim, here's the answer. What is the question? Keep a plastic bag beside you in case the phone rings.
I'm expecting a call from Piers Morgan. Any tips?
It's actually, if the phone rings when I'm making pastry or cooking something messy, how can I avoid making the receiver sticky when I pick it up? Joe, what question prompted this answer? Ensure the bristles are pointing upwards.
How can ladies make their moustaches look really smart?
In fact, the question was, what's the best way to store a broom? Graeme, what question prompted this answer? Tie a sock around the end of a stick or broom handle.
I have incredibly large ears, which are difficult to clean. What do you recommend?
In fact, the question was, is there a good way to clean under the fridge? Barry, what is the question here? Light a candle when you go to the lavatory.
How can I honour the memory of Thomas Crapper?
In fact, the question is there a good way to minimise unpleasant smells in the toilet? Tim, this should be the first thing to go on in the morning and the last thing to come off at night.
When should I watch my digitally remastered goodies DVDs?
Apparently, it's the rule for wearing pearls. Joe, first place a bag of ice cubes over the top, then strike with a hammer.
What's the best way to treat cystitis?
In fact, the question was, how can I remove lumps of chewing gum that have stuck hard to the floor? And finally, Graeme, keep your back straight and bend at the knees while moving it in a figure of 8 pattern.
What's a good recipe for mince?
In fact, the question was, what is the best way to use a mop? Look, here are a few for any of you to have a go at, all right? So here's another answer. What's the question? They're actually more effective if you don't clean them.
What washing machine setting should I use to launder my husband's testicles?
In fact, the question was, does it matter if my baking tins lose their shine? Here's another one. Yes, it will allow the balls to move freely.
Can I then tumble dry them?
It actually does rubbing the balls of my computer mice with cotton pads dipped in alcohol serve any purpose? Here's another one. To avoid an awful mess, I would snip them off with a small pair of scissors.
Oh, we're back to me again. Fair enough.
In fact, it was, I love lilies, but the stamens do spill a lot of pollen, which can stain clothing. Is there anything I can do? Here's another answer. What's the question? Put them in, then tread on them with your bare feet.
How do you give kittens a bath?
It actually was, how would you recommend I wash pillows in a bath full of soapy water? Here's another answer. Camouflage with Tipp-Ex.
In the Arctic Circle, how can I conceal a panzer division?
Is there a good way to conceal discoloured tiling grout in the bathroom? Here's one more. Hang old net curtains over the front of the cage.
That's how can you make your husband feel more at home?
Yes. How can I stop flies getting into my guinea pig's cage? And finally, put foil pie dishes under each leg.
Is there an economic alternative to Tenor Lady?
It's actually, is there a way to ensure my furniture slides easily over the carpet when I try to give the floor a thorough vacuuming? And it looks terrific as well. Well, it's very nearly the end of the show. There is just time to fit in a quick round of funeral or bedroom. According to the Financial Times, the average UK funeral costs over £4,000, which is a lot of money for something you'll never see. A bit like Brexit. The average pet funeral can cost up to £500. I guess it all depends on how much you're willing to spend on the sack and house brick. So, in this round, I'd like you teams to come up with examples of phrases that might be overheard both at a funeral and also in the bedroom. So you can start, Graeme.
At least it was quick.
Barry.
Well, that went as well as could be expected.
Tim.
Lovely spread.
Joe.
I didn't expect so many of you to come.
This is what your mum would have wanted.
Can I just start off by saying how nice it is to see so many of you here?
This is harder than I expected.
It was the second stroke that did it.
Nice hat.
What do you mean clapping at the end is inappropriate?
I always thought your brother would go first.
Would you please rise?
What's she doing here?
The vicar gave her a lovely service.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, as the tat-buying tourist of time finally forks out on the forlorn fudge of fate instead of the prohibitively priced Duchy Original Piccalilli of posterity, I notice it's the end of the show. So, from the teams, Sven, myself, and our audience here in Windsor, it's goodbye. Goodbye.
Barry Cryer, Graeme Garden, Tim Brooke-Taylor and Joe Brand were being given silly things to do by Jack D, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme consultants were Ian Pattinson and Fraser Steele, and the producer was John Naismith.